Every year when the holidays roll around, whether you're a day after Halloween person or day after Thanksgiving person, you're starting to wonder how you can decorate your house, make it feel Christmassy, make it feel cozy, one up your decorating game from last year while also decorating better than the guy across the street because he always puts on the best Christmas display on the block. And every year it gets easier and easier to do that with all these smart things, smart lights, smart doodads, smart who knows what. And this year is no different because we actually get a new entry into the smart Christmas category, if you will. And it's actually from a very familiar name, Phillips Hue. You may have heard of them. And I'm actually really eager and excited to open them, start decorating with them, and get started for the holidays. So without further ado, this is Technically. Let's go! There is so much variety when it comes to smart products these days. I mean, there's literally a smart everything. You can find anything from like dishwashers to microwaves. Even I did a video on digital license plates. Those are a thing now. So you can find just about anything you need and control it with an app or even your voice. So this doesn't surprise me. I mean, we had some smart Christmas lights come out before, but this is the first entry by Phillips Hue, which integrates with their Phillips Hue line of products, and they've been around for quite a few years. Now we have a thing called Festavia. Phillips Hue decided to make us smart string lights that you can use to decorate your Christmas tree with. Now, this isn't to be confused with their LED strips that they already have out on the market and their like play gradient strips, because those are different. These Festavia lights are directly geared towards decorating your Christmas tree because unlike the LED strips where they have adhesive on the back and they're a little bit more rigid and not as flexible, these resemble the traditional Christmas tree lights that you've used in years past and your grandparents have used and their grandparents. So the string lights are a little bit more flexible, for lack of better terms, and you can easily weave them through the branches of your Christmas tree. But with the addition of now controlling them with your phone and the Philips Hue app, as well as it's HomeKit enabled, so it can also work with Siri, Alexa, Google, all that good stuff. Unfortunately, Phillips Hue didn't decide to give me some free Christmas lights, so I had to buy these with my own money. So everything you see here is not sponsored. I'm not obligated to give a good review or anything of these. This is my own opinion, and I'm just as eager as everyone else watching this video to see how the heck these things are going to work. It's a 65-foot cord spun around a few times, and you can already get a glimpse of what the light bulbs look like. I actually got one of these light bulbs just to reference. This is one of their A19 standard household bulbs that you can use with the Philips Hue app. And these little lights kind of resemble these ones because they have a more flat top that's slightly rounded, and the glass doesn't go all the way down here like your normal not smart light would do. It looks like a pencil eraser, to be honest. It just looks like a little pencil eraser or a tip going on the edge of the light. And that is supposed to make the light a little bit more soft from what I read online. We'll put that to the test and see if it actually makes a notable difference, but they're not pointy like most Christmas lights are. But these are very modern looking, very squared off. Looks like they got a little bit of design from Johnny Ives on this one. Now, wedged right here in the middle, you have your power adapter, which I actually thought this was the power adapter, but I guess this is going to be the controller for the lights. It's going to be able to help communicate between the lights and the Hue bridge. And this is going to actually be your adapter for power. This is going straight into the wall. You're going to connect this end to here, and it's a 32 watt adapter, but it's really thick. That's easy, like, I don't know, 4 pounds maybe? But before we toss these lights up on the tree, we want to talk about some of the distinguishing features and highlights that kind of set Festavia apart from the competition, which right now there isn't a whole lot of. But for the purposes of this video, we will be referencing the closest competitor, which is the Twinkly smart LED string lights that are already available, and also pretty similar to this in a lot of ways, but also different. First, we want to start off with the price, because the cost of ownership is usually the first barrier to face when anyone's considering getting smart lights, and Philips Hue has long been the most expensive of the brands out there, so this is no different because Festavia starts at $160 for a 250 LED strand of lights, whereas with Twinkly you can easily find them on sale, or might even be regular price by now, $100 for the same 250 LEDs. And they do have some different sizes, so you can get them as short as like 100 LEDs or as long as 600 LEDs. And the price will vary accordingly, but Festavia only comes in one strand of lights, or one configuration so to speak. So a 65-foot strand of 250 LED lights will set you back $160, which is more than the competition. But once the lights are on the tree, then you have the option of either choosing a gradient, a scattered effect, or just a solid color of all one. Above that, Phillips Hue does offer some animations available through their app. Right now there's only 3, but hopefully there'll be options to add more, or maybe even make your own, similar to how Nanoleaf kind of lets you choose some of those light customizations and animations for their products. So maybe Phillips Hue will allow that in the future. But for now you can choose between candle, fireplace, and sparkle, which are very cool, but also very different from what Twinkly offers. Going back to the whole gradient and choosing your colors thing, Twinkly has gradients in a different kind of way. They don't necessarily let you replicate how Phillips Hue will do it, because with Phillips Hue you choose up to 3 colors and it'll do a gradient with those colors. With Twinkly they have some preset animations that kind of will cycle through the colors, but not necessarily be a gradient top to bottom, which you'll get a better idea of that once we show it on camera. Twinkly ones are a little bit more flashy, I've come to find. All their effects are very eye-catching, wow factor, and they're very fast moving. Whereas the Phillips Hue animations are a little bit slower paced, they're more subtle, they are treated more as accent lighting for your tree, which I think I would prefer. I don't want my tree to be a distraction in the living room, which you can choose to just do a solid color also, but I think the Phillips Hue animations are the route most people would like to go, and just have it be a very subtle accent light in their living room or dining room, wherever the case is. But with Twinkly, you do have about 30 preset effects that you can choose from right out of the box, and you can also go ahead and make your own customizations, draw lights and stuff. It's really up to you how you want to do it. Unfortunately, Phillips Hue only lets you choose those 5 colors for the scattered mode, and you can't choose individual colors for individual bulbs. Twinkly will give you that level of customization, but most people will find that to be overkill, because with 250 LEDs to go in and choose the colors for every single one of them, probably gonna take a little bit of time. One important draw that's worth mentioning is that Philips Hue Festavia can sync with music like right out of the box. You don't need any extra adapters, similar to how Nanoleaf shapes can sync with music, but they need a little adapter that you would have had to purchase separately, and it'll analyze the music or sound that's in the room, and then accordingly the lights will respond. But with Festavia you can do it right out of the box, because there is Spotify integration directly in the Philips Hue app. So whatever song is playing, then you can have it syncing to not only Festavia but also your other Philips Hue lights. There is a little bit of a caveat, because they have recently updated the Philips Hue line to be able to sync with music outside of the Spotify realm. But that's only if you own a Samsung smartphone, because it uses the SmartThings protocol to be able to do that. If you don't own a Samsung smartphone, then you are restricted to just Spotify integration through the Philips Hue app. But if you have a Samsung smartphone, then you can take advantage of the music sync features via other music services like Tidal or the Apple Music app via the Google Play Store, so on and so forth. And you're not just limited to the Spotify integration. And then as far as technicalities, for anyone who's eager to know, I couldn't find the level of lumens either on the Philips Hue website or the Twinkly website, so there is no specific like lumen rating, whereas the bulbs, you might see they're rated like 600 lumens or 500 lumens. These don't seem to have that same kind of rating, so it's just based on, I guess, your eye and how bright they appear to you. But at least in a daytime setting right now, you can see that they're showing up pretty well. Like, they're not too dim, so I'm not unhappy with the level of brightness that these lights are coming with straight out of the box. But now that we've had our fun pulling them out of the box, getting a glimpse of them, seeing how they integrate with the Philips Hue app, I'm eager to actually see them in action on the Christmas tree, so I want to throw them up, and then from there we can make a judgment call on whether or not these smart Christmas lights are worth the hype. Once you've strung those lights up on the Christmas tree and added them to the Philips Hue app, you can start getting creative with all the customization options that can be found in there. For me, I have it set to my family room, so I just open it up, brings up the color wheel where you can access all the different nodes, and right now, since it's in gradient mode, then I have 3 nodes that are on my color wheel where I can choose like how I want the gradient to show up. The leftmost node for me is going to be the bottom of the tree, so once I start moving that slider on the left end of the string, then that's what controls the bottom, and I put it in the red. Let's see, the middle one is like purple, and then I want to go to a deep blue for the top and start shifting with the nodes. You can pretty much place these nodes anywhere on the color wheel that you want. Even if I bring this like one end of the node next to the other, where the top and the bottom are almost the same color, it has this really cool effect where it just seamlessly blends back into itself. Unfortunately, there's supposed to be a mirrored mode in addition to the gradient and the scattered modes. I checked for updates available in the App Store, and I was on the most current version, which other people said that they were also on to get that effect. But for me, I only have the linear and the scattered available, so I can't actually show you what the mirrored looks like. But if we open it up and go into scattered, that's where things get like really fun, because you get 5 colors to choose from, and each of the bulbs will be assigned a different color at random. Don't pay attention to these little black nodes. These are the other lights that I have in my living room area, but we're not playing with those right now. But if we go into these warmer colors up here, then we can create a really nice scattered effect with a bunch of warm colors with that are like some orange and yellow, some light reds and purples. You can also get extra festive and just put one node in each of the like different colors. And you also have the option of grouping some together, so if you drag them right on top of each other, you can easily just create a little group of those colors, and then you can move 2 of the nodes at the same time and all that. If we jump over into the whites and yellows, then it's only one solid color, so you can't scatter and have some like different shades of white or different shades of yellow. So you can go all the way into the top orange gold area of the spectrum, or you can bring it all the way down and get a nice classic white colored Christmas tree. If we turn on candle, by default, candle goes to about 26% in brightness. You can bring it up to 100 if you want, because it is a pretty minimal effect, and you'd really only be able to get like the best of it if it's in a really dark room. Even bringing it up to 100, it's still very subtle and very dim, but it does create a really nice effect when it's in a dark room, because you get to really see all the lights glisten on the tree. Fireplace is similar, but it does give you a different hue of lights. These are definitely more orange, and they are, I think they have a little bit of a stronger presence, because the orange is a stronger glow, and you can actually see them replicating the embers of a dying fireplace. And if you want something a little bit more like classic Christmas, you can also switch it over to sparkle, which is kind of similar to the candle, but instead the LEDs are shining a little bit more, so you can see them glisten a lot more than the candles, and they get a lot brighter when they go to those individual LEDs. So straight out of the box, those are going to be your default color options. You can either choose the gradient or scattered. For colored, you can go into some of your solid colors and just choose one of everything. Maybe you want a purple Christmas tree, and you can get it. You can also go with some of those animated effects, but if you want to go a step up and bring some life to your party or to the household, you can hop over to the synced section of Phillips Hue, and once you sign in with your Spotify account, assign the rooms, and position the lights accordingly, you can hop over into Spotify, queue your music, and then you'll sync it with the Hue app. This is actually my first time using the feature, so it's kind of cool to see it responding to the music. And you also have some controls in here, like your style, intensity, color, and brightness. It looks like the automatic color that it chooses by default is just based on the album artwork. And since this is a Christmas album, we have a lot of like warm colors, reds, oranges, and yellows. And so that's what it's pulling. This was only one strand of lights, and it's a 7-foot tree, so it covered it pretty well. But if you want to see it flocked with more lights than this, then I'd recommend getting a second strand and stringing them together. You won't be able to like group them together and have them act as one unit, unfortunately. So you just have to kind of stack them on top of each other in the tree and then pick your colors accordingly. So there isn't a way to connect them and make them appear as one strand. You would just have to control 2 separate strands that you can group together in the Hue app. So now that we've had a chance to string the lights up on the Christmas tree, see them in action, and put them into good use, I think it's clear that while they may not be for everyone, there's definitely a good use case for the people who do want to use them. Smart Christmas lights are definitely not a necessity. There's nothing wrong with going the traditional route and using your solid colors like your white or gold lights, your multicolored lights, plug them into the wall, and calling it a day. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no setup, it's just simple, easy, your grandma can do it. If you want to kind of upgrade them, there's also the option of getting a smart adapter that plugs into the wall, which you can then automate with the rest of your house or have it voice controlled. That's actually what we did last year before these were a thing. But now that we have these, I think it's definitely a fun way to spruce up the decorations in your house. By no means is it a game changer or a necessity, but it is a lot of fun, and it is helpful to have it integrate with the rest of your products. So like I was mentioning earlier, you have a movie night, your Christmas tree can now participate in lighting up your movie nights. I think it's kind of fun. These aren't rated for outdoor use, so don't start getting these lights and stringing them on the outside of your house. If you want something like that, Twinkly does offer outdoor lights that you can use. That would be much better suited than putting these out there, because it would be a very expensive investment to do that and then have them be water damaged. Personally, I think Philips Hue will always be my preferred smart lighting of choice, and not because of name brand or anything, but simply because their product lineup has the most variety. And it makes sense because they've been doing this since 2014, which is longer than anyone else I know in the smart lighting game. And since then, their product lineup has expanded tenfold. You have your incandescent bulbs, your LED strips, your Christmas tree lights, TV lighting, ceiling fixtures, and they have a whole outdoor lineup, which gives me hope that one day we'll see some outdoor Christmas lights as well. But if you decide to go with someone else and not Philips Hue, then more power to you, as long as it fulfills your needs and your creative endeavors. Whatever the case, thank you for watching, and if it was helpful in helping you decide for your Christmas decorations this year, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and a subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Let's go!